let us make who? Man in our what?
Image.
I'm going to stop right there. Let us make man. We're covering some things out of this document, Let's Make a Slave. And it comes from the Black Arcade Liberation Library. We find some very interesting things as we are dealing with our liberation. Some people find the study quite painful. I'm going to have my wife read in the beginning a quote as we begin to just do a little review for the next 18 minutes by Frederick Douglass. Read.
It was interest and business of slaveholders to study human nature, and the slave nature in particular, with a view to practically results, and many of them obtain astonishing proficiency in this direction.
Okay. Now, when we begin to notice this, it was the interest and business of the slaveholder to study the slave. It was their business to find out how to program the slave, how to make the slave behave. Many of us would probably have never, Christianity probably would have never became a religion if they could not find a way for it to control us. For a while, they did not even give the slave Christianity. But when they found a way to package it where the slave can become controlled or civilized. Have you ever noticed when you start acting a certain way, folks are, you're supposed to be a Christian. Amen. See, that's supposed to civilize you.
Yes, yes.
I thought y'all was a church. I mean, we have folks in the block here that say, I thought y'all was supposed to be a church. Amen. We have people in the building that say, we're all God-fearing people. I say, really? But it was supposed to make them civilized. Amen. Continue on. They had to deal.
They had to deal not with earth, wood, and stone, but with men. And by every regard they had for their own safety and prosperity, they had need to know the material on which they were to work.
They had to study and understand the material they were working with. So they continued on in this study. Conscious of the injustice and wrong, they were every hour perpetuating and knowing what they themselves would do were they the victims of such wrong. They were constantly looking for the first sign of dread retribution. They watched, therefore, with skilled and practiced eyes and learned to read with great accuracy the state of mind and the heart of the slave through his sable face. Unusual sobriety, apparent abstraction, sullenness, and indifference, indeed any mood out of the common way, afforded ground for suspicion and inquiry. Let's Make a Slave. Read.
Is a study of the scientific process of man-breaking and slave-making.
Amen. This is a scientific process. This was not something that someone just one day dreamed up and just said, let's try this. This has been something that is scientifically proven. The other day, we took a test. Through this test, I want to show you how your oppressor thinks. Yes. Through this test, I thought after he put my answers into the computer, I thought the man became a prophet. Amen. This man understood me, described me, and predicted my next moves. This scientific testing was so good, until they claim 93% accuracy. My wife was there. I'm just asking you simple questions. Nothing deep, nothing heavy. A child could answer. The questions wasn't even complete sentences. It was just simple words. But it helped understand, it helped me to understand where I was supposed to be placed in life. It was quite interesting. These are scientific processes. There are people that study you every day.
Amen.
There are individuals that have files on you.
Yes.
There are even agencies that when you get ready to go into sometimes secret services or CIA, you will be amazed at the dossier that they will create on you. They'll go back and tell you who your friends were in the first grade, who you went out with, how many times you went to the dentist, how many cavities you had in your mouth. You would be shocked concerning the data that has been collected concerning you. They tell me, I don't know how factual this is, but they can look at your social security number and can tell just about where you were born, where you were raised at, what kind of income bracket just about you came from.
Yes.
There's people that can look at your zip code and tell what your income bracket is.
Amen.
Can tell whether you have it or you don't. Amen.
Yes.
So we're talking about here how men have studied on how to make a slave. Now, let's just review quickly the cardinal principles for making of the Negro. Amen. Read, for fear.
For fear that our future generations may not understand the principles of breaking both horse and man, we lay down the art.
Now you hear this. They're going to lay down the art for breaking both horse and man. Continue on.
For if we are to sustain our basic economy, we must break and the both of the beasts together, the nigger and the horse.
We must break and tie both the beasts together. In other words, the same way you break a horse is the same way you're going to break this man. Continue on.
We understand that short-range planning in economics results in periodical economic chaos, so that to avoid turmoil in the economy, it requires us to have breadth and depth in long-range comprehensive planning, articulating both skills and sharp perception.
Good. So now we lay down the following principles for long-range comprehensive economic planning. Number one, read.
Both horse and nigger are no good to the economy in the wild or natural state.
Notice what they say. You are no good to the economy in the wild, but notice what they consider wild. What is your natural state?
Jesus.
Man in charge of their family is considered wild.
Jesus.
Man being head of woman is considered wild.
Yes. Jesus.
A man telling his wife, amen, you're not going out to work, but you're going to stay home and have my babies, is considered wild.
Jesus.
Get the camera, pan it. You should see some of those faces out there.
Jesus.
Come on, get a nice shot there. Come, just pan it. Amen. That's it. Amen. That's it. You're gonna stay home and just be barefoot and pregnant. Just keep playing it right there. That's it. But that is a blessing.
Amen.
Children are a blessing. Amen. So you are no good.